Our next guest is, wow, I'm so excited that he is part of the lineup of the MMRBQ this year because he is going to bring some energy to the stage. And he's also doing a great thing in keeping the leather industry strong and vibrant these days. But great music. You've heard songs here on MMR, and you're going to see this live performance, and I guarantee you're going to have a good time. We are excited to welcome to our studio this morning, Des Rocs!
Yeah. Good morning to see you guys.
Good morning. Nice. Very well done, sir. I love it, man. Welcome to Philly, and you're no stranger to Philadelphia.
I spent a lot of time here, of time.
Yeah, and one of the shining moments, probably when you open up for the Rolling Stones.
At the Link.
Wow.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I was there. Yeah.
You were there?
Yeah. I mean, it was the last one that they were at the Link, right?
Yeah.
Amazing,
Yeah,
Well, let's cut to that. For you, building your bona fides in the world of rock, what is it like to be on that bill with the friggin' Rolling Stones?
Oh, it's surreal. I mean, we were so unprepared for it in every way. We pulled up to the Link in a 1987 Vanagon with the driver door painted the wrong color, and they wouldn't let us into the stadium.
All right.
And they had to call all these people, and we said we showed up, and it had it was everything short of having the cucaracha horn, do 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 do.
Oh my God.
And we pulled up, and we were like, we're here to play the show. And they're like, yeah, okay, get out of here.
But if you were working security, you wouldn't let you in.
I would not let me in, and it took us about 45 minutes to get into the show.
Wow. Was that the show where you had, where the stage was a little slick? And
that was the show where the stage was a little slick.
If you wouldn't mind telling people who don't know about that.
Yes, I mean, I've been preparing my whole life for this show. We were rehearsing for this show in an abandoned radio station in Greenpoint, Brooklyn. And the way we would rehearse, it was about 1/10 the size of this room. And I would run outside and down the block to prepare physically for what it was like to be on that kind of stage. And we finally get out there, and I've got my in-ears in, and I'm getting ready to charge out. And a stagehand comes up to me right at the last second. He says, I got to tell you something right now. He goes, we put a special material down on the stage for Mick Jagger to do his dancing on. He goes, if that material gets wet, it's more slippery than black ice. So I'm like, yeah, okay. It starts to drizzle in that moment. I charge out there, and I take one step onto the stage, and I go flying into the air. You know, like in a cartoon where they animate the guy parallel to the ground? And he stays there for a second and then falls? You know what I mean?
Like Wile E. Coyote.
It was literally that. And I remember just kind of not knowing what happened and looking up and seeing the stars and the lights, and then looking at my band, they're all cracking up, and then looking to the right and seeing 80,000 people just silent,
I have taken a fall like that. I mean, legs up in the air, boom, land on your back, and it's confusing for a moment. Did you? So you were wearing a guitar at the time, right? Did the headstock hit the ground or anything like that?
I took it like this on the hip.
Okay.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Listen, to the person who may not have been in the loop and to a lot of the people in the audience, that must have looked like the most badass rock move ever.
They thought it was a bit.
Yeah.
So I popped up, and everyone started cheering, and they thought it was part of the show. So it worked really great. But I was like, that's the most Des Rocs thing ever. It really is the van down, but then it's 80,000 people, but then you slip on stage, and then the next day I had to stay for some other stuff, and I took the $12 ball bus back. And I remember holding the guitar on my lap in that last seat where the bathroom door flies open and hits me in the knees. And just going to Port Authority. And I was like, I wonder if anyone knows what I did yesterday.
I am a fan of watching you on stage. I've yet to go to a live show with you, but I've watched videos. And I love what you do. I love the energy you bring.
Thank you.
And when you're a younger artist, it's common to get comparisons. People, you have kind of an Elvis vibe. I see a lot of Bruce Springsteen in your live movements on stage, and that is what Bruce brought you in. You are in on this show, and it seems to be that you're channeling that type of energy. I'm not saying necessarily directly Bruce Springsteen, but were those the type of artists that you were drawn to who had that kind of stage presence outside of the music,
Without a doubt.
Okay.
Even more the show than the records themselves. You know, I've probably watched more Bruce Springsteen live concerts than I've listened to albums.
Okay.
I inhale that kind of energy. I worship at the altar of that kind of energy because I feel like it's so sorely missing today. I want to be the guy 45 years from now standing on stage with a guitar playing for 3.5 hours.
Well, that's we have this conversation all the time, and it keeps getting refined, and it keeps getting actually diminished over time. Who are the great rock front men, or women in general? Who brings it, And there are a number of them, but your mind keeps defaulting back to the Springsteens and Freddie Mercury and then, Bono and people that can take command and do that. So now let me ask you, since you obviously put a lot of work into preparation and stuff, how much time did you spend in front of a mirror?
Not in front of a mirror, it was mostly in front of just in empty bars.
Yeah.
It's all over Long Island and Nassau County, Queens, Brooklyn, Manhattan, and then like me going to Philly was like going to like an exotic place for me, you know what I mean, to try out music, but I always played to nobody for years, like 14, 15, 16 years.
Yeah, and you were that young playing in bars like that, which must have been wild. Was it weird being the kid in the room, or was it just natural to you?
No, that was very natural. It was always weird when I had to play the show and then I had to leave right afterwards because I wasn't old enough to be in the bar.
Okay.
But, there was just so much being bad for so long, and I was terrible. And I would like write a song on the way to the place in Philly on the Greyhound bus, and I would just like show up and try a couple of things in front of like a bartender and then go back home. And I think I only started to get good like a couple months ago, maybe.
I don't say it's probably longer than that, but you remind me, and Preston and I are huge fans of the documentary about Twisted Sister, New York, Long Island.
Yeah.
And so that's where I'm from as well, and you are as well. But there is just a ton, like here, a ton of bars, clubs, places where you go play to no one, and Twisted Sister did that route. They would go into the city and come out on the island, and they were playing to no one, and then eventually it clicked. So was there ever a time where you thought, this show tonight and then I'm done? Or have you always been myopic and all hands on deck?
Myopic to a fault, without a doubt.
Yeah.
Without a doubt, to a fault. And it's funny, the Twisted Sister thing, I had dinner with Mark, the bass player, a couple nights ago. Yeah. And man, what a character. That was a crazy night.
They've seen and done a lot in their time.
Too much.
Yeah, for sure.
Too much.
What was your, in those early days, what was the relationship with your parents? And because they had to drag you around, I'm sure.
No, I just did my own thing. I would walk to the Long Island Railroad train station in Rockville Center, and I would be gone. And I was the youngest of a couple boys, and I don't think they even knew I was missing.
That's what it's like.
Yeah.
That's what it's like when there's a lot of boys in the family.
Yeah, I just did my own thing. I really was very independent from a very young age. I was just like the way a pigeon knows how to fly south. I don't think they go south, but any other bird, the pigeons stay in New York, the other birds go south. And I just had this magnetic force,
Yeah, wow. I love that whole thing.
Well, we have a lot to talk about with you, but we also would like to get a couple of performances this morning. What do you feel like playing for us?
I'm going to strip down a song called Never Ending Moment.
Never Ending Moment. All right, excellent. Well, this is Des Rocs, who's going to be at the MMRBQ, by the way, on May 9th, and we'll get into some more conversation, but let's get some music. Here we go on MMR.
Through fire and rain, I'll wait for you. I'll never surrender if you ask me to. Eggs off in your garden, cockatoo lies in the space of 1,000 trees. A dark river is rising, so I'll hold on to. Never-ending moment with you. No one knows me better. Nobody can hurt me like you do. And all the ties have been severed, so you cut me loose. Torn up from the inside, and I knew my soul was bred for you. And now I brace for the landslide, and I'll hold on to. Oh, never-ending moment with you. ties have been severed. So I keep holding on to never-ending moment with you.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow. It is Des Rocs, if you're just tuning in right now. I have a question about, so I've never heard that song before. You said it's kind of a stripped-down version of that tune.
Very stripped down.
Okay, so in its recorded version, is it crunchy and really, got the balls, the rock to it?
It's gargantuan.
Okay. So my question is, when you were writing that song, did you write it on an acoustic or did?
I rarely write on acoustic, and that one I did.
Okay, so I'm curious if you can hear that. When you're writing with an acoustic guitar, even though you don't have the distortion, you don't have all this energy, can you still pick up that's going to translate well that way?
Without a doubt. When
Okay.
I'm playing something on guitar, there's something completely different happening in my head than what somebody in the room would be hearing. Without a doubt. I'm hearing a fully mixed and mastered song and playing it live to like 40,000 people in my head when I'm just like, and I'm just like figuring out something in my mind.
It's funny because
Okay.
I think, and we all feel this way, the artists who are, listen, whatever your level, whatever you can do, if you entertain people, that's great. But when you can take something that is this gargantuan, huge testicled thing and reduce it down and make it sound great on a guitar solo, that's the real litmus test.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
It's like a different art form, Like I always say, like I view what I do live on stage, like that's my bread and butter. If I'm a painter, I'm painting.
Yeah.
But every once in a while, I like to sculpt.
Yeah.
I was watching the official live video of I Am the Lightning and talk about high energy. And in that video, you're not only sweating and bringing it, the crowd is headbanging, and at the chorus, they're louder than you are in singing it back. Is that the coolest thing?
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah. Like the emotional connection of a show is the reason why I do everything. You know what I mean? That is my reason to be on planet Earth,
And hearing your words come back at you louder than you are with a microphone and that big PA has just got to knock your socks off.
It's crazy, especially in Europe, man. They don't mess around. They treat it like a soccer game. And sometimes like I have to stop the show because I can't even hear anything. And they're just like take over.
I forget who I was watching, but it was Sam Fender, I think is his name, and he was playing the O2 Arena. I'm on the stage with the guitar, and the crowd, and you can see he turns around to the band, is like, can you believe this? I could see where you as an artist are saying, this is the connection. It's what it's. Listen, you love the trappings when you can get them and pay your bills and so on and so forth, but you got into it for that.
For sure. And I also love like the emotional roller coaster of that human connection. Like during a good show, like my whole approach to a show is for it to be like a film. Like I want to have multiple different beats. I hate when an artist has something that's one note.
Yeah.
Like they just slam you over the head for 90 minutes. I want you to rock. I want you to laugh. I want you to cry. And I want you to walk out of there going like you went to church.
Yeah.
All right. So when the crowd is receiving the music the way it was intended, have you ever been overcome with emotion? Going, oh my God, like I can't.
Many times. I'm a total crybaby.
Yeah. And so I want to ask about you had mentioned earlier when we were talking about Bruce, like you wanting to do 3.5 hours, like that is a workout, man.
You have to peel me off the stage.
Yeah. You want to do 4. You want to do 5.
I mean, I'll go until everything breaks.
Yeah.
Everything.
Your
Gear,
fingers.
body.
Oh, yeah.
And I've done it before, but it's usually not when you would think. It would be like to 90 kids in a basement in Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Yeah.
And like my tech and everybody's like, what are we doing? Like I thought you were going to do a short show tonight.
Well, then outside of music, is there anything that you do to make sure that you have that
duration?
The duration, like stamina? Like, no?
I'd like to think that there's some more thought that goes into the physical preparation, but it's not. I kind of just run headfirst into a concrete wall. And I think it's like my superpower and maybe my greatest disability at the same time is my ability to in the moment with the adrenaline to overcome any physical limitations that I was born with and then the next day pay for it.
I tell you this, the work ethic and reading some interviews with you and talking about how you approach, you take it all. I'll be there. I'll go do this. Yeah, in the beginning stages. But the thing that was interesting when you first came on our radar, and Chuck, our program director, Chuck D'Amico, is a big supporter for a long time, kept bringing you up. But when we started mentioning your name, the video game. Oh, the video game, Borderlands. And then I didn't realize this until I did it on our sheet here. You did the cover of Ring of Fire for Nobody 2, which is the Odenkirk badass regular John Wick kind of movie, the two movies. So how are those manipulated? Do you have someone pushing you that way, or are you saying, hey, I think I have a good song, or I have a good riff on something that might be good for your project, your video game, your TV show, whatever?
It's a little all the above. I think Borderlands put out a feeler, and then once you just crack that door open, I bust through, and I'm just like, here's why it needs to be this exact song that I have in my mind, and let me pitch you on what it's going to sound like. I'm going to sing you the bass part and the slide guitar intro right now, and then I imagine started like that, and then let me get to work.
And they just immediately said, yeah, you nailed it, got it.
Yeah, but that was really a match made in heaven, because they were looking for some otherworldly shooter-looter thing that's very left of center and very aggressive and very emotional. I was like, hold my beer. This is what I do, man.
No, that's great.
And you're not a gamer, are you?
No. But I looked at the video, I was like, oh.
It's pretty cool.
Hey, I wanted to ask you about your look. You've cultivated a very specific look. It's great. There's a lot of leather. There's a lot of studs and things like that. And your hair is kind of this rockabilly, cool, Elvis, Jerry Lee Lewis type thing going on. Are your audiences, are you seeing that look coming back, reflecting at you in the audience now?
Oh, yeah. I think one of the coolest things is when somebody cosplays as me for the show.
That's pretty cool.
I mean? I'm very flattered, because I spend a lot of time thinking about the clothes and the fashion and the intersection of music and fashion, which I love. Yeah. And live, all the suits are custom designed by myself and this amazing designer.
Really?
Yeah,
so you have some fashion chops?
I know what I like.
You know what you like.
But boy, do I not know how to get there. So I have this amazing designer who just kind of brings it to life. But we just we spend hours and hours going through textbooks of looks, but also not just, I want to be very careful about this, because I don't ever want to recreate the past. People talk rock revival. I have no interest in that.
Right,
I fully acknowledge standing on the shoulders of giants, but also dragging it, kicking and screaming to the 21st century.
Right. You want your own thing.
So with that look and what you have, and if I see a picture of you, I might have an idea of what I'm going to get musically, but that's not what happens. And that's what I found kind of cool, because I saw a little bit of Judas Priest, but I also saw a little bit of Elvis. And I don't really hear that in the music, and that's kind of refreshing, because it goes counter to what my expectations are. And sometimes that's this awesome surprise that you get,
Yeah, if I came in here looking like this, or
right. Oh, this guy's he's a poser.
It seems a very, very posery to me.
It's been done better before.
Well, let me ask you to that. You've toured with the Cult, Kaleo, the Struts, toured with a lot of artists. Do you kind of say, oh, I'm gonna pick a little bit of that and help assemble, not steal, but we all you get influenced,
Without a doubt.
Yeah. And who do you think the most has influenced your sound?
Definitely. Oh, God, this is tough.
I know it's a tough one.
This is, can I break it down into two parts?
Yeah.
I'll break it down into three parts. It'll be really fast, so I know it's radio. So, one, guitar playing, Prince, without a doubt. That's my approach to guitar live. I use it as an expression of myself. I'm not very good. I just emote, and that's what I find value in. Vocally, without a doubt, Freddie Mercury, one of my biggest influences of all time. And then live, I rip off everybody. I'm standing on the sidelines. I like that. I like that. I like that. I'm gonna take that.
Steal from the best.
When I did the Cult, first of all, I didn't know who they were. I thought we were going out with The Cure. I didn't know who The Cult were. And then I showed up, I go, this isn't The Cure.
Yeah.
And then Ian took a liking to me. He was a very nice guy. And I was watching from the side of the stage one night, and he just looks at me dead in the eyes and runs towards me in the middle of his show and drags me on stage in front of a couple thousand people.
Wow.
And he goes, this is Des Rocs, and he's going to sing the next song.
Wow.
That's amazing.
I don't know any of the songs.
Oh, no.
I don't know any of the words.
I want to ask you something about when you are playing guitar, because my favorite guitarist is Trey Anastasio, and I love watching him jam, but I also love watching him get lost in a jam. And sometimes I see him looking up, and I feel like, because I'm not a musician, I feel like he's being channeled. Something is channeling through him, and I don't know if you have that same approach. But as soon as it's coming from the universe, through and then out through his hands, is that sort of how you feel at times?
Without a doubt. I feel like we just know too much about the human body today, and there's too many podcasts breaking down exactly what's going on in your brain. And it's one of the few things where I have no explanation for what is happening.
Yeah.
And that's one of the most beautiful things that makes life worth living.
There's a great movie, Pixar movie called Soul. I don't know if you've ever seen it or not, but when the musician gets lost it's just this wild thing happens, and I kind of believe in that too.
It's divine. It really is. I have no explanation for it. You know, I'm not a particularly religious person, but it's one of the few times I'm actually present in my own body and not staring at a screen or freaking out about something.
It's funny because a lot of artists will say, like, for a lot of times you'll get their biggest songs. And how long did it take to write that? Well, I just sat down and it came to me. They'll say it came to me.
Yeah.
So
that's what I love about Keith Richards. He's like, no, the songs are all out there. Like all the songs in all of existence are already out there and they already exist. They're just getting channeled through me.
Yeah, I love that. It's like radio airway. They're just in the airwaves.
just plug them out.
Grab one out when the time's
Goes up
right.
there. All right, well, you ready for another song? What are we going to get this time?
This is going to be This Land.
All right, This Land, which is the one from Borderland.
It'd be really stripped down, this one.
All right,
really
excellent.
stripped down.
This is Des Rocs on 93.3 WMMR.
What others don't, got no fear, I ride alone, laid waste to brittle bones. The more you see, the less you know. Show me your best, I'll show you my worst. A man with nothing to prove is a man who is cursed. Not gonna stop me now, cause there's one way in and no way out. There's one way in and no way out. I stand up for this land, take it from my cold dead hands, break free, rewind, reset. Here we go again. I stand up for this land. Take it from my cold dead hands. Break free, rewind, reset. Here we go again. I'm born in the gutter. Out my mama, I was raised a lover. But hard times put hair on my chest. So rattled skulls and I said, who's next? Don't trust even paradise. Fooled you once, fooled you twice. Charming snakes until they shout. There's one way in and no way out. There's one way in and no way out. I stand up for this land. Take it from my cold dead hands. Break free, rewind, reset. Here we go again. I stand up for this land. Take it from my cold dead hands. Break free, rewind, reset. Here we go again. I stand up for this land. Take it from my cold dead hands. Break free, rewind, reset. Here we go again.
Des Rocs on 93.3 WMMR. With that song in particular, did the chord structure come first, or did the that riff come to you?
The big riff.
The riff did,
I had
yes.
the riff for a little while. I called the riff Dummy. And that was just a demo name. I said Dummy because I feel like it's just like, it's very obvious in a way I like. I like things that I haven't heard before, but feel like they exist already.
I love riffs like that. It's a down and dirty one, you know? Kind of makes you get that gritty stank look on your face.
What's this story, Sweet Child of Mine? That's a practice riff.
It's like a warm-up
that
Slash
would do, and it became this mega hit, you know?
It's you can't discount those things that you think are not special.
Yeah.
But that you do all the time.
Your group is a three-piece. You guys put out a lot of sound for three guys, which is pretty cool. Did they record in the studio with you for this record?
This album we cut entirely live as a band.
No kidding.
Nice.
Front to back, one of the most brutal processes of my entire life.
Vocals too?
Not vocals.
Okay,
Vocals,
that's rare.
Vocals I overdubbed, but
Yeah.
I limited myself to a couple takes, which was pretty painful.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I'm usually a complete perfectionist. I'll sit there in my own studio, my headphones on. I'll sing the same word 150 times. No joke. Word by word by word. But this one, we worked with this amazing producer, Joe Ciccarelli, who did like the White Stripes and the Strokes and Morrissey. And we very much set guidelines, which I think are very important in the creative process. So I took a couple whacks at each song, and that was it.
Okay. Wow.
Having that right producer, that right pairing, I mean, because, I always think, especially if you're a perfectionist, and, the hardest part would be to let a song go and say, oh, it's done now, you know?
Yeah. It's super, super, super tough to let a song be done. I will tinker with it up until the buzzer beater. The real deadline is vinyl creation and production. Because you got to get that stuff in like 6 months in advance.
Right.
So once it's in the plant, it's gone.
Yeah.
Is there an album coming out this year?
There's an album coming out. Yeah.
Okay.
So
How many tracks you looking at for that?
11.
Okay, good. Full
That's a real
record.
album.
But I wrote about 3 albums of material for this album, and I recorded about 2 albums worth of material. So
Okay.
I cut it down to 11 now,
Okay.
which is a lot of restraint for me.
Yeah.
Are the cast-asides, the songs that aren't going to make it on there, are they potentially going to have a life down the road, or do you write those off?
Ah, man, it's such a complicated relationship with your own songs. You know what I mean? It's like having like 20 ex-girlfriends. You know what I mean? Like they all represent different times and places, and they all mean something to you. And then every 6 months you go, oh, what about that one song?
Rock and roll is littered with artists that wrote songs that they thought sucked that people love.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That turn out to be like, I never knew. I just didn't know it. I'm the guy who wrote it.
Yeah.
And it turned out to be their biggest hit. It happens from time to time,
Yeah, you're your worst own A&R person. You know what I mean, there's the value of that.
Well, again, we've talked to a lot of musicians, and they'll say, "Yeah, well, my girlfriend said you should release this one." I'm like, "No, that's not," and that becomes the hit, because for much as you think the rhyme or reason can be very elusive.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah, I'm the worst judge of my own music, and I'm constantly scrapping songs that everybody wants released.
No kidding.
Yeah, whatever.
Well, I got to tell you, just from having you in here for the last 25 minutes, like I am so excited to see you
Yeah.
on May 9th. Yeah,
I can't wait.
Super excited.
And we haven't toured in 18 months. So
No kidding.
Yeah, we've been taking that long to make this album. So I'm gonna explode out there like a rat from a cage, just like
When's the expected release of the record?
early summer, late spring.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Great.
you'll be right around that time.
That's in time for the MMRBQ. That's wonderful. Listen, man, it is great to meet you. You're an extremely talented guy, and we're just delighted and very lucky to have you on our bill. So looking
Thanks.
forward to that show.
I appreciate you guys having me on a lot.
You got
Thank
it,
so
man.
much.
Good luck with everything.
Thank you.
All right, let's hear it for Des Rocs,
Yeah.
guys. Preston Steve Show. What a cool, awesome experience we got to have with you this morning. We're going to take a quick break and come back in just a sec, so make sure you stay with it.